300 AD, the largest city in the world, the strongest army, the most complex economy of antiquity, and at the same time, an empire that barely survived its own collapse. Money is devalued. Power is divided between 4 emperors. There are more soldiers than ever. And the new faith challenges the traditional gods. This is not the fall of Rome. This is the moment when he rewrites himself. After the chaos of the 3rd century,
Rome was faced with the fact that the old model no longer worked.
in a few decades, the empire had experienced dozens of coups, rapid changes of emperors and civil wars. Legions proclaimed their commanders rulers, and imperial power became the prize in the war game. The Tetrarchy is not just a political reform. It is an admission of weakness. 2 senior emperors and 2 junior rulers are given separate areas of control. Each has their own residence, their own court, their own troops. The emperor is no longer a distant godlike ruler in the capital. He is a military commander, an administrator, a crisis manager. Rome remains the symbolic heart. But the empire no longer revolves around one city. Power becomes distributed, mobile, and more rigid. Diocletian restructures not only politics, but also administration. Provinces are divided into smaller units to prevent the concentration of power in the hands of a single governor. Bureaucracy grows. More officials appear, more accounting, more control. The tax system is becoming more precise and stricter. Land is being surveyed, people are being registered, resources are being counted. The empire turns into a complex management mechanism where everything must be accounted for. This is no longer a republican tradition, nor even an early principate model. This is a centralized state of late antiquity. Inflation eroded confidence in money. The silver content of coins had been falling for years. People increasingly switched to barter. The Edict of Maximum Prices of 301 was an attempt to stop the chaos. The document listed hundreds of items: grain, meat, fabrics, transportation, artisan services. This is the first time the state has intervened in such detail in everyday life. In the market, the seller no longer determines value. It is the empire that determines it. But laws cannot instantly change economic reality. In some regions, goods disappear. In others, prices unofficially exceed established limits. Rome shows the power of centralized power, but at the same time, it reveals how fragile the economic balance has become. In 303, a systematic campaign against Christians begins. Places of assembly are destroyed. Scriptures are confiscated. Officials check whether citizens perform rituals in honor of traditional gods. For the Roman state, religion was part of state stability. Sacrifices to the gods were an act of civic responsibility. Christians refused to participate in these rituals. And this is perceived not only as a spiritual position, but also as political disloyalty. However, persecution does not stop the spread of the new faith. It takes root in cities, in military garrisons, and in trade networks. The empire is trying to preserve the old order, but the future is already taking shape in the silence of private homes. Around 300, Rome is primarily a garrison state. Along the Rhine and Danube stretch fortified lines with stone fortresses, watchtowers, and military roads, along which patrols move continuously. In the east, the empire maintains a tense border with Persia, where every outpost is of strategic importance. The legions no longer march deep into new territories. They stand, watch, restrain. The army undergoes a profound reorganization. Mobile field troops appear, capable of quickly reacting to threats, and border units, which are on permanent duty. The soldier becomes not only a warrior, but also a guarantor of order, a constant presence of imperial power in the provinces. The size of the army grows, and with it the costs and tax pressure. The state increasingly ties profession to birth. The sons of soldiers more often become soldiers, the sons of artisans. The empire gradually moves to a model where society is organized around duty. The army is no longer just a tool of expansion. It is the foundation of stability and the mainstay of the state. Despite the tensions at the borders, life goes on in Rome itself. The Colosseum still draws crowds of spectators. In the baths, people spend hours chatting, making deals, discussing news and politics. Aqueducts, rising in arches as high as a multi-story building, supply water daily to fountains, baths, and the private homes of wealthy citizens. About 90% of the population lives in insulas, multi-story buildings with narrow staircases and cramped rooms. The higher the floor, the cheaper the housing, and the greater the risk. Fires break out frequently, water does not reach the upper floors, and walls are often hastily built. Rome is a combination of marble and brick, imperial grandeur and the daily struggle for space and security. Markets operate, officials keep records, legions serve. The empire is functioning. But it is different now. More tense, more controlled, more military than ever before. The year 300 was not included in textbooks as the date of the fall. He is more important. It was during this period that Rome ceased to be an empire of classical antiquity and began to become an empire of the later era. Power is no longer personal. It is systemic. The economy is no longer free. It is controlled. The army no longer just conquers. It maintains order. Religion is no longer the same. It is changing. A few decades later, Constantine legalizes Christianity. The center of the empire shifts east. A new capital is established. But the foundation of these changes is laid right here, in the year 300. Rome does not fall. He is transforming. And this transformation will change Europe, the Mediterranean, and the course of world history for centuries to come. The past is not destroyed. It is changed.
Thank you for following this reconstruction of Rome in 300 AD to the end. And I'm Arta.
The script is based on verified historical sources and research, and artificial intelligence helped recreate a world that has long disappeared from sight, but not from memory. If you like history without myths and embellishments, subscribe to the channel. Until the next time travel.